Hey, it's Allie Edwards, and I am back today for story number 18 in my December Daily album for 2020. I took the day off yesterday and read and did a whole lot of nothing, which was great. So I am back today with another story. In terms of looking at my album and where I'm at right now, day 17, if you guys remember that one, was just journaling. That was a great opportunity for that. What I'm doing now is I'm starting to look at the other things that I already have in my album as potential pages coming up towards Christmas Day. And I potentially have more than I needed in here already, but I was trying to think of a way. This is one of the pages that I have in there. This was from the product play workshop, this setup. I'm thinking what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna adhere it actually to the back of day 17 and use this as my story for day 18. As I looked around kind of hunting for a story to include today, one that I posted on my personal Instagram this past week was watching the Mandalorian finale with Simon. That was on Friday, which is awesome. Watching any kind of Star Wars or doing anything Star Wars related is amazing with Simon because he is a super fan. And he loves to watch reaction videos after he watches whatever the show is or the movie. And these guys that he was watching are also super fans. And it was just really fun. It was fun to watch it with him. And I love Star Wars too. So it was fun to watch the episode, and then it was fun to watch the reaction video with him. And so I just wanted to kind of do a little story about that. Oftentimes in December Daily, I've had included stories of Star Wars, whether it was going to see a new movie that had come out in December. Our local symphony often does a movie night where they show the movie and the symphony actually plays the score for the movie. So we've done that a couple times and dressed up and went. So Star Wars often plays a little bit of a role in my December Daily. It actually plays a fairly big role in Simon's life generally, so this has come up in lots of stories before. So my main task today then is figuring out how I'm going to adhere this page that I had already started / created previously. How can I make it fit on this one here? And this one is stitched, so it has, I've already run it through the sewing machine. So it's a little bit about just deciding how is it going to fit on here. I'm thinking too that this might be the time I try some suggestions that you guys gave in one of the past videos where I was struggling with how to deal with the holes, and people were suggesting you could just have a little slit in the holes right here, or in whichever page I end up doing it on, that allows it to be able to open up. So I've got that day 17 on the back. So I'm just kind of thinking about a couple different ways. One is that I could easily just, see, it kind of goes right into the holes. This is what I'm trying to figure out. I think what I am going to do though is I'm just going to trim off this side over here because I know that that's going to need to come off even as I figure out how I'm going to add this on the other side. So a lot of working outside of the page protector, and I know this is why some people, prefer the pockets, is a lot about construction, right? There's a lot of figuring out different pieces as you go along in the process. And this year I'm really having fun with that part of it. But I also recognize that not everybody wants to do that kind of stuff as well. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to glue it right on here. I kind of love the little bit of green that's from the other page there, and it ties in with the greens over here. I think that before I do that part, I'm going to trim the photo to fit into this space here. So let's wait on this a little bit. I'm going to trim the photo to fit in this background space, and then I'm going to add my journaling over here, which will probably just be handwritten. I'm going to reference what I wrote in my Instagram post, but probably just handwritten down, starting at the top and coming down there as well. Okay, so I'm gonna measure this out. So mine ends up being, and yours may be a little bit different if you did this in advance. It's about 6 by 8 1/4, I think is what it is, pretty close to. So that's what I need to trim my photo to here. For this one, I also pulled out another one of the plastic circles that was in the main kit and the 18 chipboard, and I'm just going to put this right on here and then trim off the bottom of this one. I think let's see. Some of these have plastic on the back. It doesn't even really matter if you leave it on there or not. I'm just going to put one little row there. And that, you can kind of just see a little peek of it there. All right, I knew I wanted to add a little bit something else to that bottom collection of embellishments there. I added the Be Merry, which is from the die cut bundle that we had this year. And then I also took one of the perforated word phrase strips, and I'm using my circle punch there to punch it in a way where I get like the curve of the circle. I ended up doing it a little bit too low on the circle itself, like in terms of where the 18 was. I kind of wished that I would have moved it up a little bit. And then also, as I was looking at it, I wanted it to be thinner. So I grabbed my scissors and just went ahead and trimmed it down a little bit so that it was a little bit thinner, probably so that you could see a little bit more of the 18 on there. I also love that this is a story about Simon. He's 18 right now, and that kind of just feels like it fits with that too. So a little bit of figuring out where I wanted that to go. I also did use a tiny attacher on the bottom that connects those two, the die cut circle with the plastic circle too. You guys might have seen that already. So next up for me was just adding in my journaling. At first I thought I was going to look at what I wrote on Instagram, but it was pretty basic in terms of the story. So I grabbed 2 pens, a precision pen and a slick writer. The slick writer is a little bit thicker. We have both of these available in the shop. And one of the things that I like to do with them when I'm doing handwritten journaling is to intermix them together. So when I have some words that I might want to emphasize or I might want to draw a little bit of attention to, I use the thicker pen. Partly I just like the contrast that comes between the thick and the thin. It's just like if you were going to bold your type, right? That, you're bringing a little bit more attention to it, creating a little bit more contrast. And so then I just wrote a little bit about how that was what we did that day. Was we watched The Mandalorian in the morning, and how you can't beat watching Star Wars with Simon, his pure joy and love for the characters, the story, the franchise, everything just explodes out of him. And as I said earlier, I am also a Star Wars fan and have great memories of watching the original trilogy when I was a kid, and it's been so fun to have this as a piece of our shared experience. So I talked a little bit about that, and I also talked about how what Simon really loves to do is watch reaction videos after he watches. So he watches it, he has his own reaction. We had a lot of screaming and
joy with this episode. And so then he goes and watches a couple different reaction videos on YouTube. And I always say to Simon, like, these are your people, Simon. These are your people who love this as much as you do. Like, how can we connect you with them? That's what I'm always thinking about for Simon. So it was super fun to watch reaction videos alongside him and see other people's pure joy in the storytelling and what they were doing with the story this time. So that's pretty much what I'm writing here in my journaling. And again, I think it's a nice reminder that it's like a Christmas adjacent story, right? It's a story that's happening during December. A lot of stories about Simon include magic and joy and capturing all of those things because he really lives that. Like that it just comes out of him, especially when he is participating in something that he really loves as much as that. So I always like to document those kinds of stories. Next up was adhering that whole page then to the back of this one. And I decided to just try it. I said, I'm just going to try it. I'll see what happens. When I punch the holes, we'll see where the holes actually end up. If I need to cut the slits in them, like some of you guys were recommending, then I would do that. Otherwise, I would just see how it goes. So I grabbed the We Are Memory Keepers punch. I've been talking about that a lot in my videos this year because I think it's a new tool to me for this season. It's been working really great. So I'm punching the holes on there, and come to find out in the end, it all works out fine. I don't even need to cut the slits in there. I'm still able within the album to open up the page. So that was very exciting.
All right, let's take a look and see how this works in the album itself. It may actually be fine without having to click those holes. Yep, that's what I thought. Okay, that actually ended up working out just fine. You can see how thick my album is. The thickest piece in here is the day 9 little mini book that I did. That's definitely the thickest part. I might take that out just for a few days here, make it easier to move things around. But I think that's fun. I think I love the green, tying in the green, and I think, you know, it's a super simple approach in terms of printing out the photo, adding in my journaling. The rest of it was pretty much already done, besides adding in a couple embellishments on the bottom. But I love including these kinds of stories in here as well. So that's a look at day 18. I'll be back again soon with day 19.